and I am one of the organizers along with these two and actually a very large team of people of Portland's Resistance. And we are a peaceful organization that advocates for people expressing their First Amendment rights in a peaceful way. We've organized many peaceful events in the city, and we're going to remain to do so. But we are not just a protest group, we're also a political action group, and the reason for our protest is not just to cause trouble or hate towards Donald Trump, but so that we can build up our own community and advance policies here that we're going to need to accelerate, things that people have talked about for a long time here in Portland. We're going to need to accelerate them, things like rent control, things like an end to no-cause eviction, things like action on climate change, as we don't know if the EPA is still going to exist or not, ending racial disparity in policing and in society in general. These kinds of things that we are going to push for locally, and protesting is one of the things that increases our leverage and our energy and our coverage in doing so. It's not our only tactic, it's one tactic, and another tactic is engaging in the political system in other ways, and that's something that we are organizing to do now, and something that we think is important to harness the anti-Trump energy here, not just towards anger, but towards love and community and unity and peace, and that's what our organization is all about. Yesterday, there was a group of high school students who organized their own march, who decided that they wanted to be a part of the political process in this way as well. And we were there to lend expertise and to just advise them on the decisions that they made and let them understand the tactics that the police were going to use against them. And myself, Kat, and Micah, the only three organizers from Portland's Resistance, we did not organize this march. We did not direct it. We had nothing to do with the decisions. We were just there to advise our expertise to, after we've been in the streets here for years. And us three were arrested on meritless charges. And the reason why I'm dressed up in this weirdo suit that I don't usually wear is because I just came from court. And all of our charges were dropped. Which yes is good, but it should also tell you that it's bad that police are using this tactic. Almost every single one of the over 100 peaceful protesters that were arrested, their charges were dropped. So police are using a tactic to get people off of the streets, and then putting them into the court system, and then the court says we're not going to charge these people because there's nothing there. There is no there. And it's not okay for people to have everybody's First Amendment rights infringed upon because of the actions of a few or because of the community. And I think it's funny, you know, the chairman of the Oregon Republican Party called for Charlie Hales' resignation, which is something we have in common. But he called for Charlie Hales' resignation and for the National Guard to come in to shut down the protest because of the actions of just a few people. Which is funny because I wonder if he feels that same way about the Second Amendment. You know, it's like I like the amendments that I use, but not the amendments that you use. There's a reason that the First Amendment is first, and I think there's nothing more patriotic than using your First Amendment right to push for progress and to push for change. Howard Zinn said protest beyond the sanction of the law is not a departure from democracy, but it's absolutely essential to it. And we are just furthering our role in democracy here by doing so. The media sometimes like to portray us as only a protest group. That is inaccurate. The media likes to portray us as being the cause of riots. That is inaccurate. The media likes to portray us sometimes as just being whiny or having no jobs and things like that. I personally have 3 jobs. I'm finishing my last term of law school. I live in my own place that I own. So I'm not here to be lazy or anything like that. I'm here because I care about my community. I'm from Portland, Oregon, born and raised and bred, and I love this place, and I'm going to remain to stay here, and I'm not going to let Charlie Hales or his police thugs intimidate me into shutting up or silencing what I think our community needs. So that said, you know, usually I'm the guy with the mic and the megaphone and all that stuff. But my partner in crime here was also roughed up by the police as well as myself. So we've been through a lot. We spent last night in jail and then in the hospital dealing with injuries because Charlie Hales police force refused to treat her severe injuries. So then we had to go to the hospital after jail because they wouldn't help us out in jail. So we were up all night dealing with injuries and things like that. So basically, I also want to make sure that people understand Charlie Hales canceled this because he was scared of us. But we're not scary. And he said he wanted a march of hope. If he wanted a march of hope, he should have joined us on all the days we were out in the streets, and then he would have understood that we were peaceful protesters and not rioters. Why is Charlie Hales allowed to march and I'm not allowed to march? That's a great question, right? What would the police response been to Charlie Hales' march versus the marches that we do? The difference being that our marches have more people because we have more support than Charlie Hales. That said, I'm gonna have to take off to just sleep and to take care of injuries and stuff like that. But I really appreciate all you guys going out here.